Alright, so in this video we're going to be replacing what Jeep calls the oil pump drive assembly. So it's this right here. So here's my engine. This is the crankshaft position sensor. Sometimes this thing can also be called a camshaft synchronizer. So basically it's, I'm pretty sure it's geared directly to the crankshaft at the bottom. And this thing rotates. It kind of looks like an old distributor, and then it reads the position, which then goes to the computer to control spark and all that. I'll include a part link in the description. So mine is bad. You can tell it makes a really bad noise. Sounds like a screeching monkey. I'll insert a clip that I took earlier with my phone of it. It's not the greatest clip, but you can hear it a little bit. But so it changes the noise accordingly with your RPMs, and it gets really loud actually. The reason I was able to determine that it was this was I just put my hand on it while I was making the noise, and you could feel that it like vibrated at that frequency. So first thing you want to do is remove these two bolts on the cover right here. They're Torx bolts. They're T25 bits, and I've got it done already. And you can see. So the next thing we're going to do is, because we need to take this out and put this in the exact same way, we're going to line up, see, hold on, what we're going to line up is this hole and that hole down there. I don't know how well you can see it, but so the new one I had has like a pin that you can stick through that bottom hole and come up, and so we're going to rotate this in a second, get this over and get the pin through so we have it locked in position. So here's my new one. I've got the cap off, and as you can see, there's the pin. See, it's coming in from the bottom. So I'm going to take it out and just be sure not to move this afterwards, and use that pin to lock in my old one in place. And disconnect the negative battery terminal before doing this. Alright, so in order to rotate this, I'm almost there now. You need to rotate the crankshaft using a 3/4 socket. Down there. It's not an easy budge, but I didn't have to go very far. I'm almost there. You could try and do some guesswork by turning the key, cranking the engine, but yeah, I'm doing it by hand. Here's my old one. Without a doubt the hardest part is removing this retaining clip right here. It's a 1/2-inch bolt. It's just about nearly impossible to get to. I had to air hammer it out, and you can see the wear on the teeth on my old one, and it was starting to make a funny noise. And we're going to reuse this old sensor, so we got to take it off. Alright, so some final notes and words of advice. So you see we got my old one here. So that bolt on the sensor that you're going to remove is a 10mm. Make sure you get a new gasket to place here. And another thing is sometimes the oil pump, so this like chisel-like piece right here that my pinky's touching at the end, that goes and drives the oil pump. That's why this is called the oil pump drive assembly. So that might not always line up, so you need to take a flathead screwdriver and stick it down there, and you'll be able to turn the oil pump accordingly and get it to line up. Alright, so you have an alternative if you don't want to do the pin method that I use. So what you can do is go back, put another 3/4 inch socket on that crankshaft, rotate it clockwise. Oh, and before you do that, you want to remove this coil pack right here and the spark plugs. And so what you're going to do is put your hand down that first cylinder right here, and you're going to rotate that crankshaft, and what your goal is to find top dead center. So what you're going to do is you're going to wait to feel right as the valve opens and feel a blast of air getting pushed out by the piston. So that'll be top dead center as that piston's compressing that air. So if you have that, and you'll be basically approximately at top dead center, then you can insert this and just make sure, so you assume this direction where my finger's pointing is at 12 o'clock. You want this at about the 4 o'clock. And I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but that'll get you pretty close. But yeah, so if you want to use that method, go ahead and then hook everything back up. Remember, there's a switch here. Put the cap back on, reconnect the battery terminal, and you'll be good to go. One last thing is that I'd recommend the Crown model versus the Dorman, because Crown tried to fix the problem. So the problem is caused by not getting lubrication and wearing too much prematurely. So the Crown model is definitely better. I think Dorman might have tried to fix it too, but everyone seems to recommend the Crown. So.